Hi there, on this screencast I'm going to show you how to keep score. On Flappy Bird the score is pretty simple. It's just how many pillars have passed the bird or that has the bird successfully navigated through. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a variable, an int variable called score, and I'm also going to make a text variable called let's see, show score. Right, and now I'm doing in my world, and I'm going to, in the constructor, I'm going to set the score to be 0, and I'm going to say show score equals new text, and then it's going to start off at 0, and it's going to be 24 color dot white, and it's color dot white and then score and then the font size, not the other way around. Okay, so I'm going to add the score to the world in positions. So I'm going to say show score, get width divided by 2, and let's try 200 pixels from the top of the screen. Okay, so the mechanism that's actually going to detect if the bird has scored is going to be in the pillar class, and it's going to be in the top pillar class. So as a result, I need to be able to set the score from the pillar class. So set the score variable from the pillar class. Since score is a private variable in my world, I need to add a setter method. So it's going to be a void method, and this is in my world. Okay, and I'm going to be score plus equals 1. And you know what? Let me just call it add to score, because the most it's, and I'm not going to have a parameter, so the only thing it does is just add 1. So I actually don't ever need a parameter, or I don't need a parameter. I can just call add to score. So I'm going to say score plus equals 1, or just score plus plus. Alright, and now when I add to score, I need to update the label. So I'm going to say show score dot set text, and then it would be score plus that, and it would be color dot white and 24. Actually, you know what? I could just do that. Okay, so now I'm going to go over into the top pillar class, and let me see, where have I positioned the bird, because I need to figure out, I've positioned him at 100. So I think the pillars are about 50 pixels wide. So I'm going to use that fact to say that, let me go into the top pipe class, and I keep saying pillar, I mean pipe. I'm going to, in the act method, I'm going to be say if get x is less than, okay, so 50, then I'm going to add to score, and I believe it needs to be world.add to score. Yes, world.add to score. Alright, and what did I call it again? add to score. Did I misspell it? Add to score. Oh, needs to be a public method, not a private method. Okay, because if it's private, it can only be called from within the MyWorld class itself, whereas if it's public, it can be called from other classes, which is exactly what I want to do. Right, what's it saying now? Alright, I think it's actually should be good. Let me make sure that I public void add to score. Alright, so let's see if this works. So I'm going to run the game. Let me get this out of the way. Let me start the game. Oops, I hit the ground and I accidentally. You know what? I'm going to make my game easier to play for purposes of debugging. So that means I need to make a bigger space in between the pillars, and that happens in MyWorld class when they're being generated. So let me go over to MyWorld, and I'm going to make my game super easy to play by adding, for where the second pipe appears, I'm going to make there be 250 pixels in between. Alright, so let's try it again. Alright, now my game is super easy to play. Okay, so what's going on there? Well, every time the ACK method executes, we're adding to the score. So, it's kind of like holding the one of the keys down and having the an object continually to move, even though you want to release. You only want them to move when they press it one time. So it's the same deal with my top pipe. So every time a pipe can only be scored one time. So what I want to do is I'm going to make a variable that's called have scored. So in top pipe, I'm going to say private, and it's going to be boolean has scored equals false. Alright, and then I'm going to say if GateX not is less than 50 and not has scored, alright, then I add to the score and I said has scored equal to true. And that way, the next time the ACK method executes, even though the pillar's x coordinate is still less than 50, because not has scored is going to be false, it won't score again. Okay, so this is a similar concept with how we forced the user to release the key before being allowed to move again. Okay, so let's try it again. Okay, that seemed to work. Oh, and now I see that I need to set, when I reset the game, I need to reset the score back to 0. So I'm going to go into MyWorld where I reset the game, or start a new game, and I'm going to say score equals 0. And I think that should do it. So let me give it a shot. Alright. And the score did not reset back to 0 when I need to immediately update the score label after I reset it to 0 because it won't be updated on its own. So I'm going to say show score dot set text 0. Alright, now let me try it. Alright, let me pass through one pillar. Oops. Ugh. Could it be I didn't make my game? Okay, there we go. Yes, it did reset back to 0.